Yo, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. And I got a little bit of an update for you guys on my new to me CAMMED PROCHARGED 1999 Mustang GT. I like to make these videos, keep you guys in the loop on everything that's going on with this car, because I've had to address a lot of issues. I've had to upgrade a lot of parts in this car, and today I was made aware of something that I'm gonna have to monitor very closely within the next, I'd say, 1,000 to 2,000 miles. So if you guys are interested in keeping up to date with the process of this car, make sure you drop a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and also turn on those post notifications, man. Now, earlier today, before I did go ahead and jump in the car and record a POV drive for you guys, I decided to check the oil level on the dipstick, and I am so glad I did. I had only 1,800, I repeat, only 1,800 miles on the previous oil change interval. Now, when I checked that dipstick, I should have took a picture, because when I saw it, I just immediately leaped into action. The car had quite literally little to no oil. Like, it had like a drop on the dipstick, and that just really did not make sense to me. I had no type of indication that the car had low oil. Obviously, all the gauges in these older cars are dummy gauges. The coolant temp, the oil level thing, it's all dummy gauges. None of that actually is accurate. Only thing that is somewhat accurate is the gas gauge, but even that can be finicky at some points. I knew this car needed an oil change ASAP. Now, I typically like to change the oil in all of my cars that are on E85 every 2,000 miles. I checked the oil about 800 miles ago on this car, and it was within the acceptable range. Actually, it was at the full level, but when I checked it this morning, it literally had no oil in it. So that was really concerning to me. Now, obviously, because the car was literally low on oil, it practically had like no oil in it, I decided to do a complete oil change. Now, this car had Valvoline 5W30 oil with a Motorcraft oil filter in it. Previously, only 1,800 miles on that oil change interval. I went ahead and changed the oil and used Motorcraft 5W30 full synthetic with another Motorcraft oil filter, and I'm gonna go ahead and monitor the car as of right now for the next 500, 1,000, 1,500 miles to see exactly what's going on. Now, there could be a number of things going on. Obviously, these older Fords are very, very, very finicky on what type of parts and lubricants you use. On my old white 4.6 liter 2-valve, I used Mobil 1 full synthetic oil with a Motorcraft oil filter, but I was the one that built this car, so I'm gonna just play it safe and go with the OEM recommended Motorcraft 5W30 full synthetic with their oil filter for the time being, until I could do some more research and figure out exactly what this car needs. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but at the same time, I'd rather be safe than sorry and run the factory spec instead of running something that this car might not like, because you have to honestly maintain your car how it's kind of showing the signs after you do maintenance to it. Now, let me know down in the comment section right now, what type of oil are you guys running in your 5.4 liter 2 valves that are boosted, or 4.6 liter 2 valves that are boosted, that are running higher than factory compression, at least a 10.5, because this car is an 11-to-1 compression engine on E85. So I know that can have some factor on what type of oil you do need to go ahead and run in these vehicles. Again, Motorcraft, it is a highly, recommended oil for Mustangs as well as like the older Mustangs. So hopefully everything does work out. I looked online, I checked the forums. I know a lot of guys are rocking Motorcraft as well. On the GT350, I run AMSOIL, but I run 5W50, so there could be a possibility that I need to go ahead and run a thicker oil. It has been incredibly hot outside. I know that can potentially mess with some things as well, like 100+ degrees, but let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. I know nowadays, because there really aren't as many oil brands out there, it isn't too big of a deal, but like I said, I'd rather be safe than sorry and rock the factory spec kind of oil just so I know the stuff that I'm putting in the car is, you know, intended from factory. But I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about what oil you need to be running in these cars. Now, what's kind of concerning is you guys have seen on the channel, I've been racing this car quite hard these past couple weeks. I've been putting this car to the test. I've been ringing it out, the full RPM band that I'm able to be using the car at, which ironically probably is a good thing that the RPM is set the way it is right now, because if I was shifting this thing at like max RPM, I do think something catastrophic would have happened within these past couple weeks if this car was at the low oil level that it was at. Because I checked the oil, like I said, 1,000 miles ago. Obviously, I've been running it hard within the past 350 miles. So I'm hoping this is something that I caught right when it happened and was able to go ahead and change the oil in a timely manner. Now, the status of the old oil was, it was dirty. Now, there wasn't any milkiness, which is very, very good, because this car did overheat, and it did go ahead and kind of, you know, push coolant out of the overflow tank. There wasn't any milkiness in the oil, which is very good. But I did go ahead and see today, which I do believe this was something that has been leaking for a little bit now, probably around the same time that the car did overheat and did go ahead and push the coolant through the overflow tank. I did see that there was some coolant kind of seepage by the intake manifold gaskets. So those are probably gonna have to be replaced within, I'd say, honestly, the next oil change interval. I'm gonna have to monitor that as well after I do a couple pulls in the car in cooler weather. Now you guys can kind of see here, I've cleaned it up a little bit, but there has been, now it's getting windy like crazy, my luck. There has been indications that there has been some coolant leaking from the intake manifold here. So that's very interesting. Luckily, this is a Vic Jr intake manifold, because if it was the PI, I think we would have been in serious trouble. But I believe this all has to come apart anyway when I do the fuel system, so I'm just gonna get the intake manifold gaskets replaced at the same time to alleviate any issues. Now, I did clean it up, but I don't know if you guys can see down in there, there is some coolant in kind of like the top of the block area. So I think it did seep down from the intake manifold gasket. Something that I have not done, that I'm just kind of now realizing, is I actually have not emptied my catch can. Now, the first 1,000 or so miles on it, this car wasn't going into boost. So I think that's kind of why I forgot to do that. So I need to go ahead and check the catch can and empty that, see the status of that, because obviously the first 1,000 miles I was shifting the car way under boost. If the car doesn't really get into boost until like 4,000, I was shifting at like 3K for like the first 1,000 miles just to break this clutch in. And then obviously after that 800 miles or so is when I started to open up the car a little bit more. So I definitely need to go ahead and check the catch can and see the status of that. I wonder if there's a lot of blow by. But again, I'm not too sure if that would go ahead and have that abnormal of a low oil reading, because it was like ridiculously low. So I definitely need to go ahead and check the catch can. But the cam shot, man, at idle, it still sounds nasty. All right, so I want to make this quick video to keep you guys updated on what's going on with this car, man. Just gonna monitor things these next couple of days, and obviously the next couple hundred miles to see where things at. Hopefully everything is good to go, but like I said, we're just gonna full send this car and have as much fun as we can in the process. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications, turn your boy ears, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.